This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the X. We keeping the foot on the what? On the X. And like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, I'm applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts spikes. Now the Tibetan Mastiff title, you know, Hino's Sport loves his credit, but he got to give the credit where the credit's due. It was bestowed upon Hino's Sport. It was basically gifted upon Hino's Sport by my boy Oxsteel. Ursus Arctos Double Bear. So shout outs and salutes to Oxsteel, man. He gave me that title, and the title's befitting because if you do your research on the Tibetan Mastiff, unlimited pressure. That's what Hino's Sport is all about. Unlimited pressure. A Tibetan Mastiff will tear a pit bull fucking to limbs. A Tibetan Mastiff is completely undefeated by a fucking pit bull. It will dominate the fucking pit bull. I don't advocate dogfighting, but Hino's Sport knows a thing or two about the Tibetan Mastiff. He's the king of the dog world. Anyways, let's get on with this shit. Kobe Bean Bryant is the king of basketball. Let me say it again. Kobe Bean Bryant is the king of basketball. His legacy with the Los Angeles Lakers is unfucking touchable. You don't let Mickey Mouse titles try to touch that shit. You don't let fraudulent, fluky, on the spot NBA titles try to touch that shit. You don't let basically least path of resistance NBA titles try to touch that shit. You don't let fucking NBA pickup games titles try to touch that shit. You don't let NBA bubble ass titles try to touch that shit. You don't let bubble, which means isolation from reality, an illusion, try to touch that shit. You don't let the infinite Sukuyumi, i.e. virtual reality, and Hino's Sport famously said, when you take off your virtual reality goggles, what happens? You come back to reality. Fucking titles. Touch that shit. NBA bubble titles don't match with NBA titles. Kobe Bryant doesn't have an NBA bubble title. He has an NBA title. Meaning he doesn't have an asterisk title. He's won real fucking titles. His legacy is cemented. He was goated by Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So that in of itself tells you in its most cold-hearted and its most unadulterated and its most cutthroat, truth-telling fashion variation that Kobe Bean Bryant is that fucking dude. When it's all said and done, Kobe can't be seen on the basketball court because Kobe runs roughshod on his opponents. Kobe Bryant is feared. He is intimidated. And it's unquestionable and unequivocal that he was goated by Michael Jeffrey Jordan. 2003 denoted Kobe Bean Bryant's GOATness when he dropped 55 and a half on MJ2-3. When he dropped them buckets and he bowled Michael Jordan over, Michael Jordan said in the All-Star game that year that the NBA is in great hands with Kobe Bean Bryant because we have a guy here that has basically taken over the NBA. We have a guy here that has clearly dominated the fray. We have a guy here that clearly is the guy when it comes to NBA lore and it comes to NBA greatness. Kobe Bryant is the king of the court. He is the king of basketball. And he is unquestionably the king of LA. He runs LA. Kobe Bean Bryant is that dude. And when it's all said and done, y'all motherfuckers need to start putting respect on KB24's name. KB8 is a legend. KB24 is a legend. His legendary status is heavyweight lifting. This guy had to win titles the hardest way, the most polarizing way, and the most fascinating way, even more so than Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So he deserves his nod. He deserves his respect. Stop comparing him with Lefraud James. Stop comparing him with the greatest of all trolls. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat telling fashion. I keeps the foot on the what? On the X. I keeps the foot on the what? On the X. KB24, KB8, your legacy is cemented. Lefraud James, your legacy is still trying to be defined. This is Hino's Sport. Checking it.